Absolute Restoration, our team will feel magical since our focus is on serving you and your roofing needs.
Finding a roofer who actually shows up and communicates, that's just one of the problems we solve by informing you of every step in the process.
Selling premium roofing systems backed by warranties and payment plans starting at just $99 per month. Trust Absolute Restoration to deliver.
Experience unicorn-level service and affordability from a team your community trusts. Call Absolute Restoration today.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Well, hello there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon on this Tuesday. Beautiful weather out there, and we anticipate that we're going to have some borderline cool temperatures on the way for tonight, as certainly this drier and I think welcome Canadian air for a lot of folks is certainly in place. Of course, a couple of big announcements we're going to be talking about this evening. One of those, of course, being what happens tomorrow morning. More on that here in just a minute. Our Mississippi Live Weather Game of the Week has been decided by you, our watchers, our fans. We'll tell you who is going to be hosting that game coming up here in just a couple of minutes. And again, near record low temperatures. Believe it or not, that's how cool we are for tomorrow morning. It's going to be definitely kind of on the cooler end of the spectrum for the next couple of mornings with this unseasonably cooler air coming in. I love the fact to say cool that many times at the beginning of a broadcast. That's a good sign. Our forecast for the first 12, 79, 6 p.m. this evening, and the fact that obviously we're 79 at that point tells you we have not warmed up a ton today. I mean, it's warmed up, let's be clear, but, you know, for this time of year, we're still excellent. We should be low 90s, instead low 80s. 9 p.m. We're 69 degrees, 63 as we look toward midnight, down to 60 by 3 o'clock in the morning, 57 to begin the first part of tomorrow, as we should again be largely dominated by what are going to be some relatively cool conditions, and that is near record lows. We'll look at that in more detail here in a minute. Outside in Aberdeen, it is 79 degrees. That veil of clouds, a sign of some moisture there, more mid-level moisture we've kind of had around the region for today. That feels like temperature coming in 81 degrees as well. Again, very pleasant conditions out there in Monroe County. Same thing in Batesville, though a little bit cooler. As you can see, 77 degrees at this instant. Again, very low humidity helping out, and again, very few clouds. So we have some showers kind of between those two locations that we're tracking here in a couple of moments. And again, that shield of cloud cover, and 77 the temperature in Kosciuszko there as we look back toward the southerly sort of direction. And Tupelo coming in again, these little wispy clouds up high. Those are cirrus clouds made up of some ice crystals there. And looking actually on your monitor there, it looks like we might actually have a little bit of altocumulus kind of mixing in with that as well. So a number of different kind of layers of cloud cover, and then just these flat clouds near the bottom, a sign that no storms with anything we have, though we do have a couple of showers looking out on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. At this instant here, these are all pretty light and not a lot of meaningful moisture. In fact, looking back over the last 24 hours, some rainfall totals here next to nothing, largely showing up there. You got to go out to Arkansas before you start seeing half an inch. If I'm just kind of trying to see if we get anything to pull up in our areas, you could see maybe a trace there. I don't know, I believe that 1400s. I think I just happened to hit just the right spot where it tried to do it. In fact, it looks like that might be as low as our estimate goes on this here over that point and time. So it's kind of clear things off here for a moment. Looking kind of on the wider shot on Mississippi Live Weather Radar, we're going to kind of zoom things on out and look for kind of part of what our weather system is. Again, you can see some of those showers back out toward Greenville and Texarkana there. And that is, again, generally related to our overall pattern, which is including what we call northwest flow, which honestly, a lot of times during the course of a year, we end up getting into that, and we just haven't really had a whole lot. Am I wrong about that, Gabe? I feel like we just kind of missed northwest flow season. Is that fairly accurate?
I would say so.
Okay. Looking at, I'm going to try a different perspective. Didn't want to pull up my wider surface map there, so I'm going to pull up our infrared satellite here. Again, just kind of have this overall flow in the atmosphere back from generally kind of the north and west here. You can just kind of see the overall way in which all these kind of white clouds there are moving. And so we tend to look back upstream for little disturbances gradually working their way our direction. I feel more and more like John Madden every day, and I feel more and more like as I get older, that's less understood reference. But high pressure, that is largely a story out here towards St. Louis, Missouri, up there toward Omaha, Nebraska, and that is the drier air that has kind of helped us out to be much more manageable temperature-wise over the last couple of days. Again, here are those thin clouds up aloft and more mid-level clouds below that trying to produce a little bit of moisture there. So as we look at Futurecast into this evening, it does kind of depict a few isolated showers. Gabe will talk more about this in a minute, but most of this moisture isn't making it all the way to the ground. So if you pick up a tenth of an inch, whoo, that'd be going over the top. Most locations aren't going to see that. This is very, very minimal amounts of moisture, not just here in the northern part of the state, but across the entire state as a whole. As we progress toward around 10 p.m., we're looking fairly dry, and again, overnight as well. Most of those showers back out into Arkansas, Louisiana. I mean, you can kind of see our outline for the area we cover here in Mississippi Live Weather. Don't have much in the way of precipitation kind of coming into that, do we, as we kind of track this on the Room to Room Weather Center. By 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, perhaps a couple sprinkles out there. That's the first thing I want to mention. Our meteorologist Maggie McCauley, we kind of teased this since we got going. Tomorrow morning is the first day where we're going to have live morning weather starting at 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m., and then 7:30 a.m. So if you open up the app, we're going to have a live update there on what's going on. Maggie's going to be on top of not just today's immediate forecast. She'll have a look beyond that as well. So you want to check her out starting at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then from here on out, Monday through Friday, we'll have that weather for you. So looking forward to that. Very excited to have that addition. You'll see her popping up from time to time more on the 24-hour channel as well. 8 a.m. then, but just cloud cover out there. So look over the next 24 at 6 a.m. tomorrow, 57. So perhaps some record low temperatures, or at least close to that for tomorrow morning on those northerly winds. We're 69 by 9 a.m., 80 by noontime. 84 is a little warmer than today for tomorrow afternoon. And again, mostly dry conditions. Our chances for rainfall get a little bit better slightly later this week. We'll look at that more detail here in a couple of minutes. But kind of a cool thing we've been doing this year, we're excited to launch, is our Mississippi Live Weather Game of the Week. As we've talked about a lot on social media, you play a huge role in this, in particular, helping us pick the location. And overwhelmingly, when we had multiple posts on Facebook here to kind of figure out where should we go, the outcry was for Amory at Pontotoc. So that's where we will be Friday night for our Game of the Week. We're excited to kind of feature, of course, Pontotoc there, the Warriors in their brand new stadium, the redone stadium there at the Hollow. I know a lot of folks are going to be excited about that. And so we will be broadcasting live there at 5 and 6 o'clock and come back with some highlights. But we're not done utilizing you and everything that you want. We're going to give you the opportunity to vote on the band and cheerleaders of the week as well as we come up on this game. And so we'll have to get some of those pictures there, post those on social media, but excited to be able to feature different cities around the area here over the next couple of weeks as we go throughout football season, 15 weeks in total. So really excited to continue to watch things as they roll ahead with that. So congratulations, Amory and Pontotoc. We will see you on Friday night. Okay, here in 60 seconds, we're going to see our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, and what he is going to be looking at. Again, those spotty rain chances for now do get better by later this week. And will that align with the football games? Hopefully not. What about these temperatures? Can we keep it this pleasant as we go through the first real weekend of football? We'll have that coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 5 right after this.
For more than 100 years, First Choice Bank has provided dedicated community banking to North Mississippi. The banking products and services you need when you need them. At First Choice, you're our priority. Make First Choice your choice for banking.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather at 5. It's just been a great day all the way around, and now the temperatures getting even cooler into the rest of our evening. But a large part of why our temperatures were so much cooler than even what they were 24 hours ago is because of the cloud cover and the moisture we've seen in the area. Kimberly capturing this great shot up there in Alcorn County of the cross, and you can see that stratus cloud off there in the distance that blanketed the sky and limited how much of that heating and how much of that sunshine got into our atmosphere. And here's another great shot of it. Definitely seeing some alto stratus clouds as well. Matt mentioning just a number of different clouds in the sky. We'll add another one to the list, still around that Alcorn County area. And yes, that sun is there, but a lot of that getting blocked by that moisture in the form of that cloud cover. Now, looking across the area right now, conditions continue to be just a mixture of different clouds. Cleveland showcasing a pretty good blanket there in the sky of stratus cloud cover, 73 degrees, so temperatures, I mean, we're already at low 70s and it's still the late afternoon and the sun has not set. So it just shows you that we're in for much cooler conditions overnight. So be excited for it because it's very unseasonable and not characteristic at all of what we usually get this time of year. Now, we were tracking a few showers down there around the Greenville area, and I will say at least a little bit of that is making it to the ground. But I mean, you see on our radar imagery on the bottom left of your screen that it is very light in nature. So we're not seeing or hearing, should I say, any rumbles of thunder and not really seeing any torrential downpours. It's going to be one of those good summer soaking storms, summer soaking showers, should I say, that help alleviate some of those drought conditions. So hopefully we get a little bit more of that as we head into that extended forecast. Making those clouds just highlighting the sky, but I can see more blue popping up there. That's why temperatures are a bit warmer, 85 degrees, but dew point still really low in the low 60s. That's going to limit just how much moisture we have in the air in regards to that sticky feel outside. So fortunately, bearable, and temperatures phenomenal in that forecast. Smithville, 79 degrees, still seeing that drier air in place with dew points in the upper 50s, so it is going to be an enjoyable forecast altogether. Mississippi Live Weather Radar, we're talking about Cleveland and Greenville, getting a few of those isolated showers. Just, I mean, how light in nature they are. Looking at our scale, usually those yellows, oranges, and reds are some of the heavier precipitation we get, but we are the lowest we could possibly get with some of those brighter greens showing up. So that's going to be very little rainfall, and how dry the atmosphere is. A lot of that not even making it to the surface. So we're staying on the drier side for sure, but those showers, we'll definitely appreciate any of those that want to move in. A lot of that associated with that disturbance that Matt was mentioning up there towards the northwest. As that pushes more into our area, upgrading our chances for showers just a bit, but still pretty isolated in nature. Satellite imagery showcases that cloud cover moving in as a result of that moisture. So those mostly cloudy conditions will linger into any of those evening plans as well. Day planner, you see 76 degrees around 7. Some areas actually below that already, but this is our average across North Mississippi. Upper 60s by 9, mid 60s already by 11 p.m. and we still have about 6 hours of cooling beyond that point. So you can imagine just how cool it'll be. Futurecast, again, that northwest flow circulating in a good bit of that moisture, but very isolated even by 7 o'clock. And I think that our HRRR model is definitely overdoing it for how much moisture we'll see. Yes, a few showers possible, but not going to be nearly this widespread. 9 p.m., a lot of those showers, even the little bit that we do have, clears on out and drier conditions will be in place overnight. Now, Wednesday will actually be starting on a much drier note and actually a much clearer note. So should see a bit more of that sunshine throughout our Wednesday morning and definitely not dealing with those showers like we were this morning during the morning commute. So I guess Maggie brought the good weather because her first forecast is going to be a pretty calm and a pretty cool day. Looking at those low temperatures, what a sight. What a sight. If you can't look at this and smile, then I don't know what else will make you happy, because mid to upper 50s for the start of a summer day in North Mississippi. That's words I never thought I would say looking at the forecast even a couple of weeks ago. A few areas still showcasing the low 60s. That's where that moisture is still residing. But even there, considering that's our highest low temperature, I mean, we're in for a pretty good forecast. We'll look at the records here in a second, but we are very, very close in the next 12 hours of what we'll see in those temperature forecasts. So Futurecast continues on. That cloud cover pushes just a bit more out of the west. That's that northwest flow circulating in that next disturbance into that extended forecast. No showers are expected on Wednesday, but that cloud cover will progressively build throughout the day. So enjoy that sunshine towards the morning, because cloud cover definitely going to impact our skies towards the afternoon. A few breaks here and there will warm our temperatures up nicely, but we're really going to be partly cloudy throughout all of our afternoon plans. We carry this forecast over into our Wednesday evening, and that's where we do see that moisture already moving into parts of Little Rock and Pine Bluff there in Arkansas. That's going to be progressing more into North Mississippi overnight and into our Thursday. Looking at high temperatures, we are going to be a few ticks higher than where we were at today, because that clearing in the morning allows some of that heat to get in the atmosphere and warm us up. So mid to upper 80s across the region, but still below average for what we typically be at this time of year. Heat indices showcase that even with that moisture moisture up in the sky. We're not getting that stickiness in the air, so it is still going to be a comfortable forecast. Now, one of our short-range models, our strike model at this point, is very aggressive on our rain chances. Now, Wednesday evening, I have about 10% chance of some of those showers rolling on in. I wouldn't say it's going to be this widespread, but at least those chances are there for any of our late Wednesday evening activities to produce a few of those pop-up showers. But let's go ahead and progress into Thursday. And Thursday is going to be a soggy day, is a good summary for it, because we mentioned the yellows, reds, and oranges that are popping up on the higher threshold of a rainfall. We see a lot of that in our area pushing into Thursday by lunchtime, and a lot of that lingering throughout the day. So heavier rainfall outputs and the possibility of some flooding concerns also in that forecast. And of course, we'll look more at the output coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. But this just puts into your head just what to expect for your Thursday. And we're talking about a very, very rainy forecast. And that frontal boundary that's in the bottom left of your screen, a big driver in that forecast, as it is associated with that disturbance circulating in that moisture here to North Mississippi. Those linger overnight and into our Friday morning as well. So the end of the work week, you might need to keep that rain jacket handy, especially for some of our football games. Not all of them, but definitely some. Where the high temperatures will be impacted is where that moisture rolls in. So those low to mid 70s expected towards Senatobia, Tunica, and South Haven. Further south and east you go, well, those temperatures warm up, but heat indices still going to feel very nice as you head out the door. So enjoy it. Again, it brings a smile to my face just thinking about that. Well, let's look at those low temperatures. So 57 for the start of our Wednesday, low 60s beyond that point. So the thing with this moist forecast that we're getting is that it keeps temperatures pretty consistent. We're talking low to mid 80s for high temperatures Friday into the weekend, and low temperatures low to mid 60s. So temperature forecast, we are not bad whatsoever for our week 1 of the college football and high school football forecast. But rainfall wise, we will be dodging a few of those spotty showers towards our weekend forecast, but our best chances still remain right here on our Thursday. Those rain chances pushing into next week start to dissolve just a bit, but that'll allow our atmosphere to heat up just a bit. Now, I'm not saying we're getting back to the sweltering summer air, but we are going to be seeing temperatures on a warming trend at least into the midweek part of next week. But let's talk about records, because that is a realistic possibility heading into the next 24 hours. Your record for Tupelo on August 27th is 56 degrees back in 1945. Nearly, 80 years ago. So the fact that we are on the threshold of that is just an interesting possibility. 1966, 57 degrees. And then our third lowest temperature on August 27th was in 2015, only 10 years ago. And that was around 58. Now, I think first place is a little bit out of the question, but I think second and third, that's a realistic possibility for Tupelo, Mississippi in regards to those records. But going across the region, we see Tupelo, again, 1945 was 56 degrees. Columbus, 1927. What did you do to ask for such cool conditions? 52 degrees back then. Greenwood showcased back in 2015, that cool day like we were mentioning, 54 degrees. And Memphis, also a realistic possibility to break that record back in 1945. So a 70-year record could be broken tomorrow morning. So we are tracking that. We are appreciating breaking these records. It's the hot ones we don't want to break, but we're just excited that this is even a possibility here in North Mississippi. And of course, that saturated forecast moves in beyond that point, and we'll be walking through that forecast in more detail tonight at 6, tracking out where those showers will impact and just how much rainfall we're expected to see, how much of that continues into our Friday football forecast. So, Matt, do we have any questions?
No, for the most part, people just excited about the football game coming up later this week and enjoying the weather and watching us all over the place.
Well, we appreciate your guys' support and just being a part of our team and the vote. Again, you guys decide where we go and what we do, and we want this to be as much about you guys as it is here just about the weather. So we thank you so much for joining us tonight. You can, of course, download our apps, Mississippi Live Weather, on your iOS and Android app stores right here to my left and right. And we also have it on Roku, Mississippi Live. Any update from Fire Stick? Still no update. Okay. Well, we are eagerly waiting, just like you guys are. Our next broadcast coming up at 6 and 10 this evening. So make sure to tune in for the very latest, especially on those rain chances and what to expect heading into your football forecast.
Don't skip that top line there, Gabe.
Aren't you excited?
I know. Tomorrow morning it begins. 6:30 a.m. Our Maggie McCauley, again at 7 a.m., again at 7:30, live in all 3 instances to talk about the weather. And we're excited to have her on board. And we'll hope you'll tune in to the Room to Room Weather Center as we're looking at the latest on your forecast and those chilly temperatures for sure.
And she's bringing quite the good forecast with her, so she's got good luck. What can we say?
If this is all it takes to skip a little bit of the heat, well, I don't know. Some people might not be quite ready for it to cool down a lot, and of course, we'd still have some warmth eventually back.
Oh, put a poll up and see. I bet you it'll be 90 to 10.
I don't know. Yeah, for this week. And
yeah, but no, once it's December, the whole percentage
of course.
flips. So
Always.
All based off perspective. So appreciate what we have of summer, but we appreciate you guys joining us. And of course, excited to be back with you here in the next 40 minutes for the very latest on what to expect for this week's forecast.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.